As we all know, builds are very expensive, and I don't want you to waste your money on a bad build. So today, I'll be giving you multiple tips and tricks to help you make the best builds possible and avoid the costly mistakes within the builder. All right, you guys, so in today's video, the first thing we're gonna do...
Can I have your wallet? Do you have $50?
No.
Oh, what if I give you 5? Then can I have 50?
Oh, yeah, sure. 5 for 50, no problem at all. Here you go. Thank you very much. Well, I just got finessed, but you can finesse Prize Picks. They'll give you $50 when you place a $5 lineup when you use my code YoungDirk. So let's make that $5 lineup. First, you're gonna pick your sport. I'm gonna go with NBA. Then you can pick your category. I'm gonna stick in popular because I want to come down here to the Zion more for rebounds. Gonna come up to points. I do not trust Ben Simmons. We're going less. Switching over to three-pointers made. We're going with Dennis, 2.5 more. Rebounds, Cam Thomas, more than 3.5. And lastly, we're gonna do NBA first quarter points, and I'm gonna go with Shea less than 8.5. $5 to win 165, submit lineup, and there we go. Make sure you click the link in the description and use code YoungDirk. Please play responsibly, available in select states. Thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's video. The first thing I want to talk about is when you're making your build, make sure you are hitting the animation requirements for the animations that you want. Animations make 2K. That's what makes a good build. That is why 99% of all the best guards in the world are on builds 6'4" or less, because they get better animations than taller guards. Let's say, for example, you're in the builder and you want to get gold handles for days. So you're going to put your ball handle up to a 90, right? And I'm just going to leave the 90 right here. Well, you can do that, but if you want the Stephen Curry escape or the Trae Young signature size up, you have to go with a 92. And there's a lot of people who will just say, oh, I just need handles for days. I don't need anything else. And then they'll lose out on 2 very good dribble moves. Not only does this apply to dribble moves, it applies to dunks and jump shots as well. So before you make your build, make sure you have all of the requirements to get all of the animations that you want. And there's a very easy way to test this. As soon as your build is made, you're gonna hit test build. Make sure you put this up to a 99 overall. And then you can go through all the dribble moves, the jump shots, the dunks, and you can make sure that your build has everything that you need before you actually make your build. Please take advantage of this feature. It is very, very helpful. The next thing I want to talk about is making sure you're hitting your badge thresholds. When making your build, majority of the attributes are not going to be attribute based. They are going to be badge based. Now, of course, there are going to be a few exceptions. For example, by maxing out my interior on a guard, I do not get any badges, but it is proven that the higher interior rating, the better contest you will get in the paint. Another example is rebound. The higher, the better. But let's say we have a 79 rebound on a build. We're literally 1 attribute away from getting rebound chaser on silver. Go back and slightly tweak the build, play around with it to make sure that you can get that 1 extra attribute. Here's a great real world example. I have had people come to me and like, yo, Dirk, I gotta get that 83 pointer on my build. Why? You don't get anything. At a 78, you get your set shot specialist on silver. There is no point at all to jump to an 80. If you do want to jump higher, I want you to go to 83 so you can get that limitless range on bronze. Don't just go to an attribute to go to an attribute. Speaking of badges, you want to make your builds around your badge +1 perks. For example, on every guard build that I have made this year, I have went with a 91 speed with ball to get lightning launch on Hall of Fame, so I can use my +1 to get it to legend. Wait, Dirk, why are you only doing it for speed with ball? Like, why not any other category? Why only for lightning launch? Well, to get lightning launch on legend on a guard is very, very expensive. And if I just went with a 95 speed with ball, it would make the rest of the build dramatically worse. So my advice to you is figure out the most expensive badge that you want on your build and put your attributes to the rating 1 badge tier lower, and then just use your badge +1 on it. And remember, there are tier 1 and 2 badges. For example, a very good tier 2 badge is layup mixmaster or even dimer. So keep that in mind when you're making your builds as well. The next thing I want to talk about is the pros and cons of height and wingspan. So first off, for majority of the builds, it's not every single type of build, but I would say like 80 to 90% of them, The shorter you go, the more attributes you will get. If you don't believe me, look at this right here. So we have our 6'4" build. This is a terrible build, by the way. Do not make this, okay? Look at it, look at it. Now let's make this a 5'9". To continue, and hold on, I need to adjust the 3 back to a 99, and look at this. We are a 95 overall, and we have tons more attributes to play with. Now let's make this build actually good. Let's put up the speed with ball to a 91 for that lightning launch. Let's put up the perimeter to an 85, steal to 91. Let's put our driving dunk to a 70, max out the interior and block, etc., etc. And look, it's just a way better build just because we went smaller. Now, there are cons of going smaller, and there are pros of just being a taller player. The taller that you are and the longer wingspan that you have, typically you will have better defense, and you do for a fact get better shot contests. That is a fact. But the longer the wingspan, the less shooting attributes you're gonna get. And the taller you are, the less attributes you're gonna get. The smaller you go on your wingspan and height, you typically get better attributes and you get more attributes, but it's gonna be a little harder to get stops on defense, and your shot contests on defense are not gonna be as good. Now, don't get me wrong. Can you still get contests and can you still get stops? Yes, I am on a 6'2" and I be clamping dudes up. All right, now we're going to talk about our cap breakers. This is where a lot of people are absolutely clueless and where a lot of people just screw up horribly on their builds and where they put them. It's just a mess. So let's break everything down. So first off, you cannot put more than 5 cap breakers on any category. You cannot put 6, 7, 8, 9. You can only put 5. That is the max. Second, you cannot use your cap breakers to go over your build's potential. For example, as you can see right here, the highest 3 I can get is a 94. I cannot use cap breakers to get this to a 99. If I want to do that, I need to lower my wingspan so it gets the potential of a 99.3, and then I can use my cap breakers to bump it up to a 99. The next thing I want to talk about is how people just don't understand how to maximize their cap breakers within the builder. Yesterday, literally yesterday, my friend was making a build and he almost made a terrible build because he was just not using his +1 cap breaker from the season reward effectively. A great example is how I almost screwed up on my build. I wanted the 99 midi and I have 6 cap breakers, so I was like, okay, that's easy. I'll just put my midi to a 93, bada boom, bada bang. But this didn't work because I wanted a 45 standing dunk and a 60 defensive rebound. So what I did was I lowered each attribute one by one to see what cost the most, and I quickly realized that by lowering my driving layup by 1, it also lowered my ball handle, which then allowed me to lower my pass accuracy by 1, which is now going to allow me to make the build that I truly want. So I put my midi up 1, so now that's +5, and then I can use my +1 on my ball handle to get it back to the 92 that I wanted. And then look at this, my build is way better. I get the 60 defensive board, I get the standing dunk, and I get a little O board as well. When you're making your builds, keep your cap breakers in mind, and remember that attributes tie in with each other. So find the most expensive attributes, put the cap breakers on those, and then you can get the full potential out of all of your builds. Wait, one more thing for the cap breakers. When you upgrade a stat, for example, your ball handle, the cap breaker will not raise the driving layup. So keep that in mind. It'll only raise that specific stat. This last tip is also very important and extremely underrated, and not enough people talk about this. So pay attention, okay? I want you to make your builds for your play style and the game modes that you play and the people that you play with. For example, if I'm making a 1s build and I primarily play 1s, I'm not going to care about my pass accuracy at all, right? But if I'm making a point guard for the 5s and my main game mode is 5s, I'm gonna put pass accuracy. If I'm not guarding the ball a lot in 5s, I'm not gonna put high perimeter defense, or I'm not gonna care about it as much. Does that make sense? So please, when you're making your builds, keep all of that in mind. And speaking of perimeter, if you wanna be a lockdown defender, watch that video on screen right there. You will not regret it. Drop a like on this video if it helped you out. I would really appreciate it. Have a good day. Go out.